Okay, is the screen visible? Hello, is the screen visible? Hello, is the screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is what we were looking at yesterday, right? So this is a layered architecture. So the network architecture. So this is it is a generic architecture, not specific to whether it is OSI or TCP/IP, right? So generally, so how the network architecture looks like. So these are the application programs running, right? And here these are the so the next layer it is divided. It has got two services to offer. So one is a request reply service, another one is a message stream service, right? So these two are dependent on the services provided by the next layer, that is host to host layer. So that what normally we call it as IP layer. Okay, then finally it is hardware. Now one thing you should remember here there are some terminology, right? So one we call it as a protocol, right? So protocol. These names, so different authors use them by for different meaning. Okay, so what generally is a protocol? So now we call it as application layer protocol. Application layer protocol means what? So which are the protocols that run in the application layer? So we normally any application. So it may be as web application, that is HTTP or SMTP. So these protocols. So these are the application protocols running at the application layer, right? So these protocols, what actually we mean? So these protocols they enable. See, maybe this is a client side. Okay, this is the client side. What you can say, this is the client side architecture. So server side also you have the same thing. Okay, so here in the application side, client side you have HTTP client. Okay, then these services, request reply service, it is also called as UDP service. This is a TCP service. This is IP layer. This is a network interface layer. So like this. Now this application layer, okay, this HTTP client will be communicating with the. So assume that there is one more such architecture by the side of it. So that is server. Okay, this HTTP client will be communicating with the HTTP server here, right? So now, so these two layers, this peer-to-peer communication, whatever we call, okay. So this HTTP client, so we'll be communicating with the HTTP server, so using the application layer protocol. So that we call it as a protocol. Okay. So now, so this layer, application layer, so it has to communicate with the its immediately lower layer, so that is transport layer. So that communication takes place through what? What do we call that? Yes. So the communication between application layer and the layer below it, that is the transport layer on the same host machine. Okay. So how that communication takes place? Hmm? Are you getting my question? My question, is it clear? Now, what I said, see the application layer on this host. Sorry. So the application layer on this host, that is the client. So we'll be communicating with the application layer of the server. So using the application layer protocol. Okay. For example, HTTP client and HTTP server, they are communicating using HTTP protocol. Right. Now, suppose HTTP is running here. Okay, on the client machine, HTTP client is running. Now, HTTP client, it will be using the services offered by message stream channel. Okay, that is TCP. It will be using TCP service that is provided by the transport layer. So now the communication between this HTTP client and this TCP. Okay, the communication between this application layer and the transport layer, it takes place through what? Hmm,
Through
please.
transmission medium.
Transmission medium, you just see, consider it comes below. Okay, it is a hardware part actually, right? Transmission medium, so it is a hardware part, so that is the lowermost layer. Now I'm talking to you about the this. How do they communicate? Application layer, how it communicates with the transport layer. Yes. So that is called as service interface. That is called as service interface. Okay. Yes or no? So service interface. So there is an interface between these two, application layer and transport layer. Okay. So there is an interface between these two. Similarly, so this transport layer and this IP layer. Okay. There is an interface between these two. So again, there is an interface between these two. Okay. So that is called as service interface. That is called as service interface. So what is the use of interface here? What is the use of interface? What is the use of interface? See, object-oriented programming, you might have studied about this abstraction and interface. Have you studied or not? Have you studied or not? Hmm?
Yes, sir.
So what actually you mean by abstraction? Can you tell me? Abstraction with respect to object-oriented programming only. What is abstraction?
Abstraction means some data is hidden, sir.
Data is hidden. Okay. So that means you create an object. Okay. That object contains the data along with the methods. Along with the methods together, it is an object. Okay. So to access that object, some interface is given. Yes or no? Some interface is given. Okay. So through that interface, so that object can be accessed. That means what is there inside the object, nobody knows, but so they can use the services provided by the object. Okay, so that is what is abstraction. So here also the same thing. Here also the same thing. Okay, so this transport layer provides service. Okay, so which type of service it provides? TCP service and UDP service. So this application layer can use these services provided by the transport layer. Okay, so the application layer can use the services provided by the transport layer through the interface. Through the interface. Okay. Now, what is the use of interface here? What it does is this interface, that means, so how application layer will be able to use the transport layer service? Now, one thing you remember, see, transport layer provides some APIs. What is API? See, transport layer provides some APIs using which the network application can be written. Please try to understand this. So, transport layer provides some API, that is also interface, application programmers interface. Okay, application programmers interface. Okay, so can you name any one transport layer API that is provided to the application layer? Hmm? See, the API that is provided by the transport layer for the application layer. So using that API, so you can write the application here. So what is that API? What is that interface? That is socket. Yes or no? Do you remember? What is socket? We have discussed that. Okay. So socket is a transport layer primitive. So socket is a transport layer primitive. Okay, because UDP also needs a socket, TCP also needs a socket. Yes or no? Try to understand this. Okay, so socket is an interface. Socket is an API. Socket is an API using which the application programmer can use the services provided by the transport layer. So which are the services provided by the transport layer? So that is UDP service. Another one is TCP service.
TCP,
Okay.
UDP.
Okay. So either to use UDP service or TCP service, socket is required. So socket is an interface. Are you getting my point? So socket is an interface that is provided by the transport layer for the use of the application layer protocols. Is that clear? Is that clear? Okay. So what generally the interface does is it hides the implementation details. It hides now how this TCP is implemented, how UDP is implemented. As an application programmer, you need not know it. What all you need to know? How the API can be used. So how socket primitive can be used. So what are the parameters that are to be supplied to the socket? So only that you have to worry as an application programmer. You need to worry about that. You need not worry about how the connection is established, how UDP works. Those things you need not worry. Those things you need not worry. Okay. So similarly, across every two things, two layers. So there is an interface. So there is an interface. Okay, what generally the interface does is it hides the implementation details. Okay, so whatever is the minimum amount of information that is required, so that has to be given, the parameters. Okay, see now this lower layer works for the upper layer. Okay, that means lower layer provides service for the upper layer. So to provide that service, whatever the input that is required by the lower layer from the upper layer, so only that information has to be supplied. Okay, how that service is implemented, it is totally hidden. It is totally hidden. Is it clear? So that is what is an interface. That is what is the job of the interface. So generally in this, especially this author, okay, so what he considers is, so the this application layer of client communicating with the application layer of the server, so that he calls it as protocol interface. That he calls it as protocol interface. So the application layer communicating with the transport layer, that he calls it as service interface. That he calls it as service interface. Is it clear? See, you just see here, layered system with alternative abstractions available in a given layer. Okay, abstractions. Okay, alternative abstractions are available. So abstraction means so wherever the details are hidden, so that we call it as abstraction. Okay. Now, just see here, protocol defines the interface between the layers in the same system and with the layers of a peer system. So that's what I told you about. So protocol defines the interfaces between the layers in the same system and with the layers of the peer system. So that means, so how uh, application layer communicates with the transport layer. So that is an interface. Okay, that is an interface. So how application layer on client machine, it communicates with the application layer on the server machine. So that is layers of peer system. It is layers of peer system. So the layers on the same system, so they communicate with the interfaces. They communicate with the interfaces. So the layers on the peer system, they communicate with the protocols. Okay, so these protocols are the building blocks of any network architecture, because whichever layer you take, so there are protocols are running, application layer protocol. So there are standard protocols, HTTP, SMTP, SNMP, all these protocols are running. So then when you come to transport layer, again there are protocols, TCP protocol, UDP protocol. So if you come to IP layer, that internet protocol, or even the ARP protocol, ICMP protocol. So these are the protocols running in the uh, IP layer. So then when you come to MAC layer protocols, so there are different protocols, ARQ protocol, automatic request replay protocol, selective repeat protocol, like this. So the different protocols running in the data link layer. So like when you move to physical layer, again there are different protocols. So like so there are some transmission mediums, some standardization, multiplexing protocols. So those physical, so the protocols which are applicable at the physical layer. So like that, in every layer, so there are protocols running. So that is why protocols are called as the building blocks of a network architecture. Okay. So these protocols, they make up a particular layer. So like this, every layer has got some protocols. Okay. So each protocol object has two different interfaces. As I said, one is service interface, another one is so peer-to-peer interface. So service interface is what? What is service interface? Yes.
Communication between application layer and the transport layer.
Don't be specific. The communication between the upper layer and the lower layer, generally you say.
Okay,
The
sir.
communication
Okay,
between
sir.
the upper layer and the lower layer takes place through service interface. The communication between the two layers on the two peer systems, it takes place through peer-to-peer interface or peer-to-peer protocol, you can say. So where the messages are exchanged with peers, where the messages are exchanged. For example, so messages in the sense, what as far as transport layer is concerned, it exchanges segments with the corresponding layer. So as far as IP layer is concerned, it exchanges packets. If data link layer is concerned, you exchange frames, is it not? So the peer-to-peer system, peer-to-peer layers, they communicate by exchanging the messages, exchanging the messages. So which generally we call it as protocol data unit, PDU. Okay. Okay, so the term protocol is overloaded. That is what he says. So, especially this particular book, he considers so the communication between the upper layer and lower layer that is happening through the interface. So he calls it as a protocol also. The same he calls it as protocol. He interprets as protocol. Okay, so the communication between the application layer on the client communicating with the application layer on the server. So that also he calls it as protocol. So that is peer-to-peer protocol he calls. Okay, that is peer-to-peer protocol. So this is the communication between upper layer and the lower layer. So that is also a protocol, but that is a service interface protocol. That is a service interface protocol. Okay. So one is service interface protocol, another one is peer-to-peer interface protocol. Is that clear? Any doubts? Yes?
No, sir.
Okay, fine. Now you just see here. So the same thing is given. See, this is higher level object. So this is the higher level object. So this is the lower level object, you can say. Okay. So it implements. So this protocol is what? So it is protocol, that means the service provided by the lower layer. Service provided by the lower layer. So that is a protocol. It implements some protocol. So here you can say, so here high level object means HTTP client you consider here. So here you consider it is TCP. So the client, so the application HTTP client is availing the services of TCP service by using service interface, by using service interface. So this layer communicates with this layer using the peer-to-peer interface. So that is a protocol. Okay, this is a peer-to-peer interface protocol. This is a service interface protocol. Service interface protocol. So this is a client machine. This is a server machine. Okay. So protocol specification. So how actually protocols are specified? Now you might have see how these now HTTP. So where how do you get the details about HTTP? Suppose tomorrow you want to implement HTTP. Okay, HTTP is not a simple protocol. So suppose you want to implement your own HTTP protocol. So now where do you get the details? Where do you get the details? Hmm? Where do you get the details about HTTP protocol? See, there is something called as RFC. RFC, have you heard about RFC? Every protocol, whether it is HTTP protocol or SNMP protocol or SMTP protocol, every protocol is having an RFC number. RFC number, request for comments, we call them as. Request for comments. Please make a note of it if you don't know. Request for comments. Okay, RFC number will be there. So RFC, some number, right? So for different protocols, so there are different numbers. Now, suppose you want to implement your own HTTP protocol, so you can refer to that RFC, get to know about the details of HTTP protocol, how actually it works. Okay, based on that, you can implement your own HTTP protocol. Okay, so that RFC will contain the pros. Pros means the entire theory about that particular protocol. So the pseudocode also. Okay, pseudocode. Then state transition diagram. Okay, how actually it moves from one state to another state. Okay, how the connection is established, how the connection is terminated. Okay, so regarding these things, all the details will be available. So that's how the protocol is specified. So that is protocol specification. You can get it in RFC. Then interoperable, when two or more protocols that implement the specification accurately. Okay, so they should be interoperable. What do you mean by that? Now, suppose, consider you have an one email application which is implemented using SMTP protocol on one machine. So another email application implemented with a different protocol, implemented with a different protocol on the another machine. Are you getting my point? Right. So on one email, okay, email application is implemented using SMTP protocol on one machine. Another machine contains an email application implemented using different protocol. Now, so they should be interoperable. They should be interoperable. They should be interoperable, right? Because for implementing this email application, you have referred to SMTP. So here also he has referred to SMTP, but he has implemented differently. Okay. So when for implementing, sorry, see, while for implementing any protocol, when you refer some standard protocol specification, so then those services they become interoperable. The protocols they become interoperable. Are you getting my point? Because so to implement email application on first machine, you have referred to SMTP only. So the second person has also referred to SMTP only, but he has implemented a different protocol, but using RFC. The same RFC has been referred. Okay. So when you refer, for implementation of the email application, when same RFC is referred, so then naturally what happens? The two protocols they become interoperable. So if there is no standard like RFC, so then this email application implemented on machine one, so he can implement his in own way, okay, without referring to anything. If he implements, so he implements it in own way. So on his machine it works, but when he wants to communicate with the second machine, because that is also implement that person has also implemented email application in his own way without referring to any standard protocol. So then what happens? So the protocol they are not operable with each other. Okay, so that interoperability, so you can achieve by what is called as some standardization. Some standardization. Is it clear? So that means, suppose tomorrow you are implementing some protocol. Okay, so what you have to do is you should refer to the standard protocol for that, some standard protocol. So only then whatever protocol that you implement, it becomes interoperable with the other existing protocols. So if you, without referring to any standard protocol, standard specification, if you implement your own protocol, then what happens? So a protocol per se, protocol as protocol in isolation works very well. But when you want to connect this protocol with the other existing protocols, so then it is not interoperable. Okay. So these standard specifications of the protocols, so they are specified by IETF, Internet Engineering Task Force. So it looks after that. So it is the one so which does standardization as far as internet applications are concerned. Is that clear? Is that clear? Any doubts?
Yes.
Okay. Now you just see this is a protocol graph. This is a protocol graph. Now it is very self-explanatory. You see here, these are the applications. So this is host one means you consider it as a client. Host two means you consider it as a server. Okay. So host is, what is host? Host is the machine on which some application is running, network application is running. So here client application is running, here server application is running. So these are the different application layer protocols. One is file application, digital library application, video application. So then these two, FTP, so file application and digital library application, so they are using this RRP. So they are using RRP. RRP means what? What is RRP? RRP, we have seen it before in the previous slides. What is RRP? Request reply protocol, is it not? So request reply protocol. So these two applications, they use request reply protocols that is provided by the in its lower layer, that means transport layer. So this video application, it is using the message stream protocol that is provided by the transport layer. It is just an example. So both these protocols, they are dependent on the service provided by the this host to host protocol. HHP means host to host protocol, right? So in turn, so this whatever is the output, the message that is output by this one HHP, so that what happens, so that goes through the physical channel, it enters into the network. So from the host machine, it enters into the network. So this cloud is nothing but it is internet. So it goes to the destination and it enters the host to host protocol here. So from there it either moves to RRP or MSP depending on which protocol is used here. If RRP is used, so it goes to RRP. If MSP is used, it goes to MSP. Okay, so then it goes to the server. It goes to the server application. Is it clear? So this is how the message gets transferred. Okay, the message is generated by the application layer, so it goes to the transport layer. Okay, that message stream. So what happens? Actually, there is the next part is how data encapsulation takes place. So what happens? Whatever the message that is generated by this layer, so it is encapsulated by this transport layer. Okay, every layer attaches its header to it. Okay, so then that encapsulated data comes to host layer. Again, it encapsulates it. Again, it encapsulates it by attaching its header. So that layer comes to lower layer. So it goes through this network and comes here. So with whatever the header that is attached, so they communicate with each other. So the header is a control information. Header is a control information attached by every layer. So using that control information, the corresponding layers, they communicate with each other. Okay. So whatever the header this host has attached, host to host layer has attached. So using that, so this host to host protocol, it understands it. So then it interprets it and then forwards it to this. So then using the header that is attached by this layer, so it understands the message, then forwards it to this application. Okay, this is how the message transfer takes place. Now we just see whatever I said, encapsulation. So this application layer, it generates, okay, it may be any application. Okay, it may be any application. Every application will generate some data or message. So that message comes to this RRP. Okay, he has taken RRP, request reply protocol. Okay, so what happens? This RRP, so RRP to the whatever data it has received, so to that it attaches header, RRP header it is. RRP header is attached. Okay, RRP header is attached. So this together, so this here you call it as message. So here you call it as, it is not just a message, if it is a transport layer, we call it as a segment. It is called as a segment. Okay, this segment is received by this. Okay, now what happens? So HHP will attach its own header. So data, RRP, and header. Okay, now one thing you remember. So there is something called as a payload. What is a payload? See, this data that is given by the upper layer to this. So it acts as a payload for this. Okay, for the transport layer, this data itself is the payload. For HHP layer, this part, RRP and data, so that is the payload. So leaving the header part of the corresponding layer, whatever that is there, that is a payload. For HHP, what is the payload? RRP plus data. So that is the payload. For RRP, what is the payload? The pure data is the payload for that. Is it clear? What is payload? Payload is nothing but, so payload of IP layer is what? So leaving the IP header, whatever that is there, whatever it has received from the upper layer, so that is the payload. That is the payload. Okay. So now one thing you should remember. So why every layer attaches header to it? Yes. Why every layer attaches its header to it? What is the purpose of attaching header? So header contains some control information, right? So what is the purpose of attaching a header? Hmm? Anybody can answer. Aziza,
Yes, sir.
yes. Hmm. What do you feel? What is the purpose of attaching header by every layer?
Say information,
Hmm?
protocol information.
Hmm. Okay. Protocol information, but you can still be
Sir,
To
it will have
avoid
the
to
information about
coupling.
error.
yes, anyone. Hmm.
To reach a correct destination.
No. Hmm.
To
It will
See,
avoid
have the relevant
coupling
information.
between
avoid. Yes. What is
to
that?
avoid coupling between each layer, sir.
Coupling?
Yes, sir.
What do you mean by coupling? Hmm?
Sir, it is um, one a medium, sir, that transfers between one layer to another layer, sir.
Hmm. Okay. Now you just see here. Now see this host-to-host protocol. It attaches its header. Okay. So now this message, this total packet. Okay, we call it as a packet. So it comes to this layer. So the packet is received by that. Now what happens? So this will look at this HHP. Will look at the header that is attached by the corresponding layer. Okay, header that is attached by the corresponding layer. So that header contains the control information. So that means, so that is actually you can consider it as a sort of communication key. It is a communication key. So once it refers to that header, so then it will be able to know, it will be able to know what to do with the rest of the thing, what it has to do with the payload, what it has to do with the payload. So what happens here, it tears off this header before forwarding. You just see here, so from as you move from top to bottom, headers are attached. Okay, as you move from bottom to top, see here HHP RRP data, so this together we call it as a packet. Okay, so it is received by HHP. So now what happens? It looks into the header. Now header contains some information. What is that? So it contains some information, and the some information means what? It contains the IP address. Okay, it contains source IP address, destination IP address. Okay, then check some regarding. Okay, so that will help for the correct receipt of the packet, and then that will also give the information about so what to do with this, what to do with this is the remaining part. So before giving it to the application layer, now what happens? It tears off this header. This header is removed. Only the payload portion is given to the upper layer. Okay. So now this RRP will be able to communicate with this. So by using this RRP header, RRP header contains some control information. Okay. So this RRP, you can understand that using this RRP, so this implementation, so this interpretation of this payload, okay, RRP header will help in the interpretation of this payload, how to interpret it. So that is that information is given by this RRP header. Okay. So then before moving it to the upper layer, so it tears off this header portion, only data portion is sent. So that's how they communicate. So then, so this side it is called as encapsulation. Okay. So this data is encapsulated in a segment, we say. So this segment is encapsulated in a packet. So packet is encapsulated in a frame. So that frame is sent. Okay, now it is de-encapsulation. Okay, so frame is received by this. So then within the frame packet comes. So packet is, so when frame is de-encapsulated, you get a packet within it. So when packet is de-encapsulated, de-encapsulation means what? Tearing of the header part. So encapsulation means what? Adding the header. Adding the header is adding the header to whatever the payload that is received from the upper layer, that is encapsulation. Okay, that happens at the sending end. What happens at the receiving end? It is de-encapsulation. So de-encapsulation is nothing but removing the header and forwarding the payload to the upper layer. Forwarding the payload to the upper layer, that is what is de-encapsulation. Okay, so high level messages are encapsulated inside of lower messages. Okay, so high level messages, these are the high level protocols. Okay, so this is a lower level protocols. Okay, these high level messages are encapsulated in the lower level messages. Okay, is that clear? Yes, any doubts? Okay, so we just move ahead. So this is OSI model. Okay, OSI. What is OSI? Full form of OSI? Anybody? What is OSI?
Open system interconnection.
Open system interconnection.
Interconnection. Good.
Open
Okay.
system interconnection.
Good. Okay. So it is proposed by ISO, International Standards Organization. So this is just a reference model. Okay, OSI model, it is a reference model, whereas TCP/IP is a practical model. It is a practical model, right? So why OSI model is called as a reference model? Why TCP/IP is called as a practical model? Because see, TCP/IP. So before that, see, TCP/IP was already in use. Okay, so there was no TCP/IP protocol before that. So the people started using. Okay, it was a part of this ARPA. ARPA, do you know, American Research Project Agency. Okay, so that was for one of their projects. So they started so using the network services. Okay, that network service itself has been developed as a TCP/IP protocol. So TCP/IP protocol actually it was a, so whatever is the network module that was working, so that itself was you can say designed and developed as a protocol. Okay, so this, whereas this OSI model, it is not a practical model, it is a theoretical model, you can say, that can be used as a reference. Suppose you want to develop any application, so then you can use this OSI architecture as a reference model. Okay, it is a standard. It is a standard. Okay, if you develop your protocol as per the OSI architecture by referring to the OSI model, so then what happens? So whatever protocol you develop, so that will be interoperable with the existing protocols. That will be interoperable with the existing protocols. Okay, now you just see. So there are. So what is this part? End host means what? What is end host? End host means what? It can be any host machine. Client and server, you can say. So this is a client, this is a server, you can assume. Okay, this is a client, this is a server. So here you have 7 layers: application layer, presentation layer, session layer, transport layer, network layer, data link layer, physical layer. Okay. Now you may ask why 7 layers are here, whereas in case of TCP/IP just 4 layers are there. Okay. Now, on what basis you decide on the number of layers? On what is the basis on which you decide on the number of layers? So it is, now what you, the thing is, see, you should not worry about the number of layers, but you should worry about the different services that you want. Okay, different services. What are the different services? So this service, application layer, so you should be able to separate out. Okay, this is a separate service. Whenever you find a separate service, So separate service should be put in a separate layer. Separate service, independent service. So it should be put in a separate layer. That means what I mean to say is, so different services cannot be put in a single layer. Okay. So different services cannot be put in a single layer. Okay. Now just to reduce the number of layers, suppose now you have 7 layers. So now each and every layer has got some specific service to perform. Okay, they have got some specific function. So this application layer has got its own function, presentation layer has got its own function, session layer has got its own function. Like that, every layer has got its own function or service. Right? Okay. Now it should not so happen that just to reduce the number of layers, okay, tomorrow if you decide application layer and presentation layer, if you want, if you mix these two, so then you can reduce the number of layers. But that doesn't happen so, because the application layer service is different, then presentation layer service is different. So application layer service is the what? It is a client side. It is a any application, whether it is a file transfer application or web application, it is that. So this presentation is layer is what? Its job is to how to present the data to the outside world. It deals with coding mechanisms. It deals with the coding mechanisms, whether to use ASCII code or EBCDIC code. Okay, so like that. Okay, so how to present. So if you can't mix these two, you can't mix these two together to reduce the number of layers. And at the same time, you cannot you cannot have too many layers. You cannot have too many layers, because if you, instead of a 7, if you go for 10 or 12 layers, so then the architecture becomes very clumsy. Okay, architecture becomes very clumsy. Management of that article, because you have to deal with so many protocols, right? So if you develop 12 layers, so then 12 different protocols are there. Okay, so the management of that will be very difficult. Okay, so the number of layers, it should not be too small, and the number of layers, it should not be too large also. So if it becomes too small, then what happens? So you are forced to put the different functions in a same layer if it is too small. If it is too large, then what happens? The management of the architecture, it becomes very cumbersome. Now you just see here, this is host side, this is host, so this is also host. So these two hosts are interconnected by this network. This is a network. Now as you see here, host side you have got 7 layers. In this host side you also have got 7 layers. In this network you have got only 3 layers. Why in the network you have got only 3 layers? Anybody can answer? Are you getting my question? Is my question clear? Now, in this host, so these are the hosts. So this is a client and this is a server. So here you have 7 layers. Whereas, so this is a network. Okay, this is a network. So in the network side, you have got only 3 layers. So up to network layer you have. So transport layer, session layer, presentation layer, application layers are not there in the nodes. Nodes are nothing but they are the routers or switches. Okay, so here in these routers or the switches, so you don't have the remaining layers, upper layer starting from transport layer. Why it is so? Yes, fast, because the session is going to close in another 5 minutes. Yes, yes. Kirti, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Hmm. Can you tell me the answer? Hmm? Can you tell me the answer? What is the question I asked? So why router or a switch has got only 3 layers? Why not it has a transport layer, session layer, presentation layer, application layer? Hmm? We can attempt, it is easy. Kirti, speak out.
Yes.
Hmm. ಸ್ಪೀಕ್ ಔಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬರೀ ಎಸ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕು.
Like network layers, like it provides procedures.
So my question is, why switch or router doesn't have transport layer, session layer, presentation layer, application layer? ಎದಕ್ಕೆ ಇರಂಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅವು? Anybody can answer. It is open. Tunga, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Attendance ಕೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ. I'm not calling attendance. I'm asking answer to this. Yes. It's simple ada. Very simple it is. Amarnath. Amarnath.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What is the answer?
Sir, to avoid traffic between the layers.
ಇಲ್ಲ. See, these switches or routers, see, switches routers ಅಲ್ಲಿ, see, there is no application running. Switches and routers, they are part of the network. They are part of the network. So, outrally, no application will be running on your laptop. So, which is a host machine. So, there only application is running. ಹೌದಿಲ್ಲ? See, HTTP client, ನಾ browser ಎಲ್ಲಿ run ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ? In my laptop ಅಲ್ಲ? ನಾನು browser, my internet browser or Google Chrome, where I will be running on my laptop or my desktop. Is it not? So that is so wherever the application is running, that is called as a host ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ, right? So the host is the one which is running an application. ಈ router ಅಲ್ಲಿ router switches ಅಲ್ಲಿ, so no application will be running. So that is why these upper 4 layers will be missing. Only the network layer, data link layer, physical layer are required in routers or switches. In host, since applications are running, so you require all the 7 layers, right? So in the next class we will discuss that, right? So okay, so now I am closing the session.